So, do you think Puffy was involved in the shooting?
Only they can answer that question.
Right.
I have my own opinion, but I wouldn't slander their name like they did mine.
Right.
I wouldn't say things that I knew, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I believe so. I do believe so. I have proof, things that I could say that will back up my claim, but this is not for the world to know about. You know what I mean?
Any idea who shot Suge?
I'm pretty sure Suge knows who shot Suge.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
So when he comes out of sedation, I'm sure anybody who gets shot will tell you who shot them, right?
yeah.
But if the police say nobody shot him, I believe nobody shot him. And if nobody shot him, that's the same nobody that shot Tupac. And if nobody shot Tupac, it's the same nobody that shot MLK.
So, you know, he wanted, and then you gotta see, like, you could just go tell that the drugs had his mind so messed up, whereas that he started thinking he was too.
50 Cent's Diddy documentary already sent shockwaves through the culture after exposing explosive new claims surrounding Sean Diddy Combs, including disturbing allegations that connect him to the murders of Tupac Shakur and the notorious B.I.G. But now, comedian Katt Williams is stepping into the storm with even darker bombshells that many believe Netflix refused to include in Diddy: The Reckoning. And if even half of what's being whispered is true, it could completely change how people view Tupac's death and what the world wasn't allowed to see. Katt has been one of Diddy's loudest critics for years, and in a brutally honest interview earlier this year, he claimed he rejected huge money just to stay far away from Diddy's circle, hinting that he spent decades collecting knowledge, secrets, and evidence that could expose powerful people when the time is right. Now, supporters believe that stash includes never-aired footage, hidden testimony, and details tied directly to Tupac's murder. Materials so dangerous it would have pushed the Netflix doc into an even more sinister chapter of hip-hop history. While the official series only hinted at Diddy's alleged ties to the violence of the 90s through interviews and archival clips, Katt's revelations suggest the real story might be far deeper and far more terrifying than anyone expected. But here's where it gets even crazier, because according to 50 Cent himself, what the world saw on Netflix might have been only the surface. He's hinted that the production has nearly 140 hours of unused footage sitting on the sidelines, loaded with extra context, deeper connections, and moments so explosive they couldn't even fit into a 4-episode run. And one specific detail 50 actually brought up: a jaw-dropping connection involving Diddy allegedly having a child with a woman who was previously linked to Tupac, something that was reportedly true, verified, and then quietly left on the cutting room floor. But Katt Williams is claiming his own archive goes way beyond that, suggesting he's been holding on to information for decades that would completely flip the narrative if it ever surfaced. His message was clear: people who lived through that era know the public story is incomplete, and no matter how bold the documentary was, a Netflix series can't expose what's really buried underneath. Sure, critics say the doc already crossed into dangerous territory, and Netflix has defended its right to the footage it aired, but now fans are asking the real question: if Katt's claims are real, is there unseen footage that ties Diddy even closer to Tupac's death? And if so, could a season 2, or an unreleased special drop, finally unleash the parts that were too explosive to show the first time? Because this angle feels like the kind of truth they only reveal when the timing is right.
That day, at 19-ish years old, boom, he becomes famous. Wow. And he creates that rumor reputation of he can put the biggest parties in the world and people show up. The biggest promoter. So that became a way where his image got bigger and bigger and bigger with this. And then when you continue, there's a part with what he didn't like is that Tupac and Biggie started getting very close because Tupac would allow Biggie to open for him. So you guys have to realize, I had Greg Kading on the show 10 years ago. Greg Kading is the guy that was the lead investigator of Tupac. He was in the documentary as well. He was investigating what happened to, he was investigating what happened to, and Rob, if you can pull up the podcast with he and I, and the way I did it on the board, and I put all the suspects of who it could have been. And then he gets the recording and shows with Keefe D. Keefe D is the guy that was the boss who Diddy allegedly offered $1 million. They said, I'll take $1 million to take both of them out. So, and he's saying the recording. He's saying it to the feds. So right here, if you zoom in on this list, Rob, can you zoom in on the list? Okay. So if you zoom in, you see the bottom 3 names. You see the bottom 3 names right there?
On the right?
By his right hand.
Tupac?
Right there. Yeah, that's Keefe D is right in the middle.
Okay.
The one to the left is the guy that stole one of the Death Row Records chains.
Oh.
Zoom in a little bit. You can't do it? Okay, it's all good. No worries. So the guy in the middle is the guy that's having a conversation who says, yeah, he offered us $1 million to take him out. Keefe D. And so they try to get the money. They're not able to kill both because he wanted them to kill both Suge and Pac.
In the car?
They only kill Pac, and they don't kill Suge. So allegedly, they got paid $500,000. The $500,000 was paid to the guy on the right, all the way to the right. You see the guy on the right?
Corey.
He's the one allegedly that got the $500,000, and that money never went to Keefe D or anybody else. The guy on the left is the one that stole the
chain,
the chain, which was a Death Row Records chain. That's a way of saying I got your rapper's chain, because if you were one of the guys, Death Row. So long story short, this whole thing isn't recording that he said this. So what does Diddy do? Rob, can you pull up this song? It's a song called Black Rob, featuring Mark Curry and Mario Winans. If you can just type in lyrics, okay? So he gets $1 million. Can you go to the lyrics? And Diddy's in the lyrics when he gets started. Go a little bit lower. Boom, boom. Muscle.
See it in this game?
Can you type in the word in there, Rob? Nice guy. Type Control F, nice guy. Okay, right there. Look at it. It's 1999. No more Mr. Nice Guy. Been nice too long. I'm just going to start making y'all
blank
disappear. Man, first I'm going to take your records off the radio. Then I'm going to erase your social security number. Take your birth certificate out flies. I'm going to do your whole effing family. Ain't nothing but mercy. And then, by the way, in the lyrics, he says, I'll drop $1 million on your head to erase you. Can you type in, I'll drop $1 million, just put Control F. Just go to Google and type this out. I'll drop $1 million on your head. I'll drop $1 million on your head, and just put Diddy next to it. Right there. See, it says Black Rob. What song came up?
Phrase.
I'll drop $1 million on your head. Erase you and your whole family, biatch.
Wow.
He's saying it in the song on what he did to get rid of Tupac.
What an idiot.
He's saying this like that is the level of criminality to say,
arrogance.
I'm going to get away with it, right? One day I'm at an NBA game. This was 2 years ago, right before he got arrested. I had done like 3 videos on Diddy. He's at a game with one of his girls. He sees me, I see him. Listen, if there's a guy in the hip hop world I cannot stand, is this guy. I'm looking at him, he's looking at me. And then we're locked in. Vinny, when I tell you we're locked in eye to eye, 2 minutes.
And you're not breaking.
Neither one of us are breaking.
And
okay?
He's across the...
Look, you don't understand. To me, Tupac was as a young kid coming up, he played a very big role
he's
as
in
a...
your painting.
Yeah, he's
the most influential people in your life.
To me, that guy was a... So to me, you took this guy out. I investigated a lot of people based on the reports and things that we talked to a lot of different people. It always comes back.
Things take a truly explosive turn when Gene Deal steps back into the spotlight and drops one of his most eyebrow-raising claims yet, tying Diddy, Tupac, and a long list of women into one messy, uncomfortable narrative that fans are still trying to process. According to Gene, the tension between Diddy and Tupac wasn't just about music, power, or East Coast versus West Coast politics. It was personal on a level most people never considered. He paints a picture of jealousy disguised as rivalry, saying Diddy was obsessed with Tupac's lifestyle, his influence, and especially the people in his orbit. And in Gene's telling, there was a pattern. Whenever Tupac was linked to a woman, Diddy somehow ended up circling the same situation sooner or later, not as a coincidence, but as something that kept repeating again and again. What makes the claim even more unsettling is how Gene connects it to Diddy's mindset back then. describing a strange mix of admiration and resentment where obsession and bitterness existed side by side. He even alleges Diddy started mirroring Tupac, not just romantically, but through speeches, language, and ambition, raising the question of whether competition slowly turned into imitation. But then Gene takes it one step further and completely blurs the lines of the war narrative, recalling moments that challenge what people think they know about that era, describing encounters where Diddy, Tupac, and even Suge Knight crossed paths, exchanged words, and seemed far more cordial than the public story ever suggested, making it feel like the real truth was happening behind the scenes while the world watched the feud play out on stage.
Get into this Tupac stuff now. You know, we all know Diddy and the feud with Biggie and everything, but they were saying that Diddy was really, really jealous of Biggie and Tupac's relationship.
Right. You know what I'm saying? And Kirk Burroughs, the president of Bad Boy, he knew Puff real well. Real well. Real well. So he made those accusations, and then you could see it too. You could see like every girl that Pop talked to. Sally Richardson, you know what I'm saying? Diddy got with her. Sarah Chapman, Diddy got with her. You understand? You know, the list goes on and on and on. You understand? If he seen Pac with him, he wanted him. If he saw Pac wear it, he wanted to have it. You understand? Pac beat him out of the part for Bishop and Juice. You understand? Puff wanted that part too. He auditioned for that part too. You understand? People may not tell y'all that, but he auditioned for that part too. So, you know, he wanted, and then you gotta see, like, you could just go tell that the drugs had his mind so messed up, whereas that he started thinking he was Tupac. For instance, did you see that Grammy speech he did?
I mean, I've seen quite a few speeches from Diddy. I don't remember.
Hey, listen to the verbiage in there. He's saying the same stuff Pac was saying.
Oh, wow.
The same,
okay.
The same, if people go back, he's saying the same stuff with Pac. Why? Why? It's crazy. You know what I'm saying? He did have he disliked Pac, but he also loved him in certain things. It's a strange, weird, it's a strange, weird, I guess, relationship that they had, bro.
Yeah, that is crazy, man. Cause I even interviewed Reggie, and like Suge and Diddy were cool too. Even when their beef was going on, I heard they were still communicating and like not. I don't know, man. It was like this weird dynamic that they had.
Y'all thought it was an East Coast, West Coast war. One day we was in behind a house of blues. You hear me? We was driving through that. We had a reporter in the car. He was either from Billboard or he was from, what's that other big magazine? Rolling Stones. It may have been Rolling Stones. He's in the car with me. Riz is on the driver's side. Riz is on the passenger side in the back. The reporter's in the middle. I'm on the driver's side in the back. You got Kenny driving, Puff is in the front. We see Suge and Tupac, right? Pac is in a white Rolls Royce convertible. Suge is in a red Rolls Royce convertible. It's about a House of Blues. Behind the House of Blues, it was about in the afternoon. It wasn't even late at night or nothing like that. So Puff rolled up to Pac. We rolled up to Pac, and Puff said, "Yo, what up, Pac?" Pac looked at that nigga and turned his head and got back on his phone. My man Riz said, "Speak to Suge. Suge is the boss. Speak to Suge." We roll up to Suge car. Yo, what up, Suge? Nothing much. What's happening? He said, yo, man, we got any problems? You know if we got any problems out here? Suge said, I don't know no problems y'all got out here. You understand what I'm saying? He said, we good? She said, yeah, I guess y'all good. You know what I'm saying? You good? They talking like that. We drive off. So, did they talk? Yeah, they talk. I seen Pac talk to Puff after that Quad Studio thing. We was in the Roxy. Pac arm was in a sling. Pac arm was in a sling or something like that. A dude lit a cigarette for Pac. We was in the Roxy downtown. Him and Puff was talking like they was talking.
Damn.
So it's a crazy dynamics, but it is what it is, bro.
Adding even more fuel to this fire, what Katt Williams has been hinting at for years suddenly makes the whole story feel a lot more serious and, honestly, almost unreal. Because long before the recent Diddy documentary ever hit the public, Katt was already pointing toward connections between Diddy and Tupac that most people didn't even want to mention out loud. And what's wild is that this goes back as far as 2014, nearly a full decade before the culture started revisiting these accusations on a mainstream level. In that clip from back then, Katt wasn't just cracking jokes or repeating some random internet rumor. He spoke like someone who believed there were deeper ties buried beneath the surface, ties that had been protected, ignored, or purposely left unspoken for years. And unlike casual fans or online theorists who were just speculating from the outside, Katt didn't sound like he was guessing. He sounded like someone talking from inside knowledge, like he'd seen enough to know the story was bigger than what the public was ever meant to hear. The way he delivered it made one thing painfully clear. He believed there were truths people were either terrified to say or far too close to the situation to ever expose.
Have you heard from Suge?
Yes.
How's he holding up?
Well, first of all, I was there that night. I was with Suge.
Oh, you were with him. Okay. Do you have any idea who shot Suge?
I'm pretty sure Suge knows who shot Suge.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
so when he comes out of sedation, I'm sure anybody who gets shot will tell you who shot them, right?
Yeah.
But if the police say nobody shot him, I believe nobody shot him. And if nobody shot him, that's the same nobody that shot Tupac. And if nobody shot Tupac, it's the same nobody that shot MLK. And if nobody shot him, that's the same person that shot Malcolm X too. It's a lot of nobodies out there, and nobody minds if nobody comes up missing, right? That don't bother nobody, does it? Certainly doesn't bother me.
So,
shout outs to the nobodies of the world.
You're predicting this is going to be a nobody situation?
I'm making no predictions whatsoever. I'm saying the police said they arrested the shooters, then said they didn't arrest the shooters. But I was there, so I know that 20 minutes after people were laying down on the ground shot, no police had entered the club yet.
Did Suge do anything to provoke this, or?
Nobody in the world has ever provoked themselves being shot.
That's true.
There's only two ways to get shot. Either you believe you're somewhere where a person can't have a gun, therefore making you safe, you know, like an airport or a club that restricts entrance, and a situation where the person already has the gun out and you're standing in front of somebody. Now, if you're an idiot, you can believe this was about Suge Knight, but Suge Knight has been accessible every day of his life for 20 years. We know who it was aimed at, we know whose life he saved, and we know why they won't talk about it. But now the rumor mill would tell you, yeah, see, the same thing Suge was doing to Katt, he was trying to do to Chris. They're forgetting something. Suge has never managed me.
What about the reports that this was gang-related, that these were two gang members that thought they did it in spite of Tupac?
If it was gang-related, then why didn't it happen thoroughly? You see, there's parts of this story that just don't seem to make sense.
Right.
You're saying it was gang-related, so that means somebody's gang was shooting at somebody's gang, and then somebody's gang didn't shoot back. That's your story? That's not really how gang stuff works.
For years, one chilling line from Katt Williams has haunted hip-hop fans. Nobody would ever be held accountable. Back then, the question lingered like a shadow. Was he talking about the police the system, the industry, or someone much closer to the center of the story. Most people assumed it was just a broad critique of law enforcement and the silence surrounding Tupac's death. But now that Katt has openly confirmed he was pointing directly at Diddy, that old statement hits completely differently, heavier, darker, and way more personal. And what makes this moment feel even more intense is how perfectly it echoes Tupac's own words. A resurfaced 1995 interview shows Pac speaking carefully but clearly about his belief that Diddy was involved in the 1994 Quad Studios shooting. Tupac didn't throw accusations like a reckless headline. He sounded deliberate, controlled, like someone who knew the truth could get him killed. "I have proof," he said before adding, "it's between me and him, and only he knows." That wasn't paranoia, that was a man choosing every word like it mattered. Pac also described the eerie aftermath of the shooting, how familiar faces avoided him, how no one came close, how the room felt cold, and how Puff stood back while everyone else acted like nothing happened. And those details matter because they match Katt's point. Sometimes silence isn't ignorance, it's protection. From there, the story spirals into a chain of events that many believe ultimately led to Tupac's death. Rooted in the mid-1990s when East Coast versus West Coast tension was erupting in real time. At the center of it all were Diddy, his close friend the Notorious B.I.G., and death row boss Suge Knight, a man feared for his violent reputation and alleged gang ties. The rivalry intensified after Suge publicly mocked Diddy on an award stage, implying bad boy artists danced in videos. And even though Diddy later claimed it wasn't about him, their relationship clearly fell apart. That tension eventually spilled into real confrontations between their entourages, with street affiliations like Crips and Bloods lurking in the background. Then came the Quad Studios shooting in 1994, when Tupac was hit 5 times in New York. Biggie and Diddy were in the building, and Pac became convinced they knew something he didn't, even admitting later he couldn't prove it, but the suspicion poisoned everything. The hip-hop world fractured harder after Biggie released Who Shot Ya?, which Pac took as a direct taunt. Then Pac aligned with Suge, who paid his bail and signed him to death row, and that's when it turned nuclear. Tupac recorded Hit 'Em Up, one of the most vicious diss tracks in music history, directly attacking Biggie, Diddy, and Bad Boy, and reports claim Diddy heard the song before it officially dropped, making Tupac's influence feel like a threat that was growing too fast to control. And then enters Keef D, a Crips figure who later admitted to police that he orchestrated the 1996 Las Vegas drive-by that killed Tupac. Keef D claimed that Diddy, terrified of Suge and now viewing Tupac as a dangerous wild card, put money on Suge, with Pac treated as collateral. That theory gained even more heat after the Las Vegas fight weekend when Tupac and Suge jumped Keef D's nephew, and later that same night, Tupac was shot and killed. Keef D has claimed he was never paid and later cooperated with investigators, and while authorities have said parts of his account matched their findings, prosecutors also argued there wasn't enough direct evidence to legally tie Diddy to the crime. Still, despite decades of rumors, lyrics, insiders, and resurfaced interviews, Diddy was never charged, and that's why so many people in the culture call it the worst-kept secret in hip-hop history. And now, here's what Suge Knight had to say about the entire beef.
Same time, Katt is who he is, and if you really want to understand Katt, he on tour right now. Go buy one tickets per row, and you gonna hear it all. He's gonna tell the truth. So that's the best way to find out about Track.
Even from there, you're selling tickets. You can't, no matter where you're selling. No, the only reason I asked this question is because when he did this interview with Shannon Sharp, and I know you played in the NFL before, when he did this interview with Shannon Sharp, everywhere, everybody was talking, but also people were quiet. I want to play one of the clips, Rob. If you can play the clip of what Katt said to Shannon Sharp about Diddy. I just want you to hear this since you haven't heard the whole thing. This is just a snippet of what Katt said about Diddy. Go for it.
Big events is all catching hell in 2024. It's up for all of them. It don't matter if you Diddy or whoever you is. TG Jakes, any of them. All lies will be exposed. That's all. And anyone who takes that the wrong way know why they take it the wrong way.
Now, when this came out, he went after, Diddy. He went after TDJ. He went after a lot of people in the space. Had you Katt and Diddy, did you guys ever party together, three of you guys? I know you and Diddy spent some time together, but did you, Katt, and Diddy ever spend time together?
I'm not gonna listen. I'm not gonna say I never had a threesome. But I damn sure ain't had no threesome with no men. So you talking about have me and
No, that's not what I'm asking.
Threesome hung out together. What you trying to do? I mean, have you shit, not me.
Well, listen, that is becoming every day something new pops up where it's no longer a surprise nowadays.
And your telephone number is monitored and recorded.
But I guess the question I'm asking is, did you, Katt, and did you, Diddy, and Katt ever hang out where? And the reason why I'm asking this, where you actually personally witnessed some of the accusations that Diddy is having, saying the fact that he had cameras in the room.
This okay. But listen, thing I'm gonna tell you. We from two different worlds. Number one, him and I. Number two, I'm the guy they didn't want to invite to those parties. And I'm glad of it. I've never been happy to be left out of my life. But at the same time, I'm not the guy who's in for Puffy's downfall. But I am the guy who supports the victims who got victimized, right? But at the same time, whatever the situation is, everybody knows it's wrong. And I don't think he can get punished as hard as a regular person because, you know, he used to be an FBI informant for a long time, they say. So I'm quite sure that play a role.
You're saying...
Asking the question, me, Katt, and Puffy, we had no reason to be hanging out. Me and Katt and not me and Puffy. So that's that.
Got it. So you're saying Diddy's an FBI informant and he's been one for many years.
That's what they say, and that never happens, but it's still, like I say, it ain't my business. Well, I said that because anybody else gaffered up quick, fast, in a hurry. But, you know, the most important thing about this is that with me, you got some people will have an opinion on something either they weren't a part of or they wasn't there. And I never want to be that type of person because, you know, there's only so many people who had Tupac or seen Tupac or talked to Tupac. And I feel that way because I often hear so many Tupac stories from people who never met him, people who wasn't around. Then you had the ones that if they worked at McDonald's and they took Tupac orders, that don't mean they know Tupac. Or you doing security or wherever, that don't mean you know the man. All these people been benefiting and capitalizing on trying to put the man down or lie on him or tell some stories that they weren't there or they know anything about. Because I don't think none of these people psychic. And I'm not. You know what happened to the last psychic bitch? She ended up, whoever her name was, the fake roster boys. You know what happened to her?
Even with decades of rumors, resurfaced interviews, and renewed attention surrounding Tupac Shakur's murder, Gene Deal continues to hold one firm, grounded position. Without hard physical evidence, there's no legal road to proving Sean Diddy Combs was responsible for the shooting. Speaking on Keefe D's upcoming trial, Deal makes it clear that speculation alone can't convict anyone, especially in a case this massive. According to Gene, Keefe D's defense leans heavily on the claim that Puffy put a hit out on Tupac and Suge Knight, but Deal stresses that courtrooms don't run on theories or street stories. In a murder trial, it's not enough to connect emotionally. You need real proof, documents, verified money transfers, credible eyewitness testimony, or solid evidence that survives cross-examination. And right now, Deal argues none of that exists in a way that definitively closes the gap. He points out the biggest weaknesses: no proven money trail, no direct check tying Puffy to Keefe D, and no witness willing to testify that they personally saw or heard an order being made. On top of that, Gene questions Keefe D's credibility altogether, reminding people that he's told different versions of the story over the years, and any defense attorney will use those inconsistencies to tear his claims apart in front of a jury.
With a murder trial, you can't only use circumstantial evidence. You have to have some kind of physical evidence. There's no physical evidence that Keefe D killed or had something to do with Pac's death. There's circumstantial evidence there's people that could probably testify of what somebody told them or heard. So now, Keefe D, lawyers and them did a great job when they did trial by judge. Because the judge is looking for physical evidence. What ties Keefe D to Puff? What ties Keefe D to the murder of Tupac? And how could they prove that either one of them has something to do with it? Somebody would have to get on the stand and say that I saw him, he told me, and they gonna have to believe them. So, do they believe Keefe D? If he told a lot of different stories, you gotta realize he may have told more than one or two stories, because he tell that story now. What about the stories he told prior to this? You understand what I'm saying? So you're gonna look at that. You're gonna look at, okay, did he get the money? Where's the money at? Who got the money? Who wrote the check? Who paid the money? Where did it come from? When did it come from? It's a lot of mitigating circumstances in that whole case that is going to be hard to prove. You could easily say anything, but you got to look at that. Keefe D defense is going to say, okay, this was a gang situation. Then you hear, Suge telling Pac on one of the things that he told Pac, yo, listen to me, bruh, you done got involved into some gang stuff now, and things might be different. You understand? Because gangs might be involved now. Yo, bro, let me tell you, back in the day, I was there. Let me just say, and what I mean I was there is that, don't you know that a lot of people was coming up dead? There was so many shootings out of LA about crazy. It's a lot of people that came up dead behind that. The Bloods was laying people down, but behind Pac getting shot. It was a big, it sparked a big gang war out there. So, if they want to pull Diddy into that, they gotta mitigate circumstantial evidence. Anybody could be a witness for you, but what can they prove? Somebody's gonna have to say, I heard this conversation. This was a handshake or a nod or something went down, and it's gonna be hard to prove. It's gonna be hard to prove. Unless they follow the money. They were always saying stuff and they try to make it seem like I said it. I never said it. All I said was I saw a check for $1 million, right? Eric Von Zip had a check for $1 million, and he said he got it from Al Heyman. Not Al Heyman. What's the dude's name? He was married to Gladys Knight. Black Ground Records. Barry Hankerson. And he said, I got this check from Barry Hankerson, and what's the other dude's name? Jimmy Henchman. And it's for me selling my record label to him. I said, I didn't know you had a record label. When he showed us, and I said us the check. When he showed us the check, it wasn't only me. I said, dog, when did you get a record label?
So what do you think? Is this really a case where the truth stays buried because there's no paper trail? Or do you believe the real evidence exists? It just hasn't seen the light of day yet? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss a new upload. Until next time, fam, keep it real.